They sparkle on the showroom floor. Sleek finishes, comfortable layouts, smiling salespeople promising your dream road trip. But what if the RV you just bought, your so-called home away from home, turned out to be a rolling money pit? What if the walls peeled, the roof leaked, and the frame flexed every time you hit a bump in the road? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the RV industry and exposing 11 brands that have left thousands of families dealing with moldy floors, sagging slide-outs, and electrical nightmares just months after driving off the lot. Some of these rigs cost over $40,000, yet fail in ways that would make a tent look reliable. From hidden design flaws to customer service that vanishes the moment you need it most, these models have turned exciting vacations into expensive repair missions. And trust me, what you're about to see isn't just inconvenient. For some RV owners, it's been financially devastating. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned traveler, missing this video could mean stepping into a mistake you'll regret for years. And don't think the worst is behind us, because the final RV on this list is so notoriously bad, some owners have called it the biggest regret of their life. Ready to find out which brands you should avoid at all costs? Let's get rolling. At number 11, we've got an RV that looks like it was built to conquer the road. But underneath all that sleek marketing, the Forest River XLR has left a trail of regret across the country. This toy hauler grabs your attention with its bold design, massive garage space, and the promise of luxury camping with all your gear in tow. But what many buyers discover after signing the papers is that the XLR is less of a rugged powerhouse and more of a ticking time bomb on wheels. Let's start with the build quality. From day one, owners report misaligned panels, poorly secured cabinetry, and cheap interior finishes that begin to fall apart under normal use. Not over years, we're talking weeks into ownership. Even worse, the XLR is plagued by water intrusion, especially around the slides and roofline. Once moisture gets in, it's game over. Mold, soft floors, and rotting wood become inevitable, and the repair costs, they can easily hit 5 figures. But that's not all. The electrical system in the XLR has a reputation for being unstable. Flickering lights, failed power converters, and random appliance shutdowns have turned what should be relaxing getaways into frustrating calls for roadside assistance. And if you're hoping Forest River will have your back when things go wrong, don't hold your breath. Many owners say warranty support is a nightmare, with delays, denials, or flat-out silence from the manufacturer. So while the Forest River XLR may look like a beast built for the wild, it often turns into a fragile burden parked in a repair shop. And if you thought that was bad, just wait until you see what's coming next. Because the next RV on this list proves that even lightweight luxury can come with some heavy regrets. At number 10, we've got the Keystone Bullet, a trailer that markets itself as ultra-light luxury. But after just a few trips, many owners say the only thing ultra about it is the frustration. With a price tag that often creeps past $35,000, you'd expect reliability, comfort, and peace of mind. But instead, the Bullet has earned a reputation for delivering exactly the opposite. A sleek shell wrapped around a long list of compromises. The most consistent complaint? Water damage. Faulty caulking and poorly sealed slide-outs mean moisture can sneak in fast. And once it does, the consequences pile up. Bubbling floors, delaminated walls, and swollen cabinetry that turns your home on wheels into a disaster zone. Some owners say it only took a single season of rain for their dream trailer to start falling apart. But it doesn't stop with leaks. The electrical system is another sore spot. Failed converters, flickering lights, and power outages are common, often striking at the worst times, like when you're in the middle of nowhere trying to heat your trailer or cook dinner. And don't forget the plumbing either. Loose fittings, dripping water heaters, and leaky under-sink connections create an endless game of maintenance whack-a-mole. Then there's the issue of comfort, or the lack of it. Despite being sold as a 4-season trailer, the Bullet's thin insulation and leaky ductwork make it nearly unusable in cold or hot climates. You'll freeze in the winter, sweat through summer, and constantly fight the temperature just to stay somewhat comfortable inside. So while the Keystone Bullet may seem like a sleek, affordable option for adventurous families, it often delivers more stress than savings. But the next RV on this list might be even more frustrating, because it comes from a brand that once stood for quality until now. At number 9, we've got an RV that hurts more than most, because it comes from a brand that used to be one of the most trusted names in the entire industry. The Jayco J Feather was once the go-to choice for families looking for lightweight reliability. But recently, it's become a case study in how even well-known brands can stumble hard when quality control takes a back seat. The most serious red flag? Delamination. Owners report exterior fiberglass walls bubbling, peeling, and literally separating from the frame. Not after years of use, but sometimes within the first year. The cause? Poor sealing around the seams and roof edges that allows water to silently creep in, rot the internal structure, and slowly destroy the trailer from the inside out. By the time the damage is visible, it's often too late for simple repairs. We're talking full panel replacements or complete sidewall rebuilds. The problems don't stop there. The plumbing system in the J-Feather has earned its own set of complaints. Leaking faucets, undersink floods, and cracked water lines turn camping trips into cleanup missions. And despite the trailer's price tag, often sitting between $39,000 and $45,000, these issues tend to show up within the first 12 months. Interior durability isn't much better. Cabinet doors sag, light fixtures break under normal use, and slide mechanisms jam far more than they should. For a unit marketed as family-friendly, the J-Feather struggles to withstand the reality of family life. But what truly stings is the customer service slide. Jayco was once famous for its helpful warranty support. Today, many buyers say calls go unanswered, claims are delayed, and serious issues are brushed off with "that's normal wear." If you're expecting the legendary Jayco reliability of the past, you might be in for a harsh surprise. And as bad as that sounds, the next RV brand on this list manages to turn even simple rainy days into a serious hazard. Coming in at number 8 is the Coachman Catalina, a trailer that promises family fun on a budget, but too often delivers the exact opposite. If you've ever walked through an RV dealership, chances are you've seen this model front and center. Pushed as the perfect starter trailer, affordable, spacious, and kid-friendly, at least on paper. But many owners find out the hard way that this so-called entry-level RV comes with an entry ticket to nonstop repairs. The most infamous problem? Slide-out sag. Within just a few months of normal use, the mechanisms that control the slide begin to wear unevenly. This leads to gaps in the walls, allowing water, bugs, and cold air to sneak inside. What should be a sealed, secure extension becomes a leaky, drafty nightmare that ruins the comfort of the entire RV. And it doesn't stop there. The roof sealing is notoriously weak, often needing a full reseal within the first year. In some cases, light rain was enough to soak the floors, causing the linoleum to bubble and separate. Even worse, multiple owners report discovering mold behind the walls after just one season, a health hazard that costs thousands to remediate. Then there's the interior quality. Drawers, lights, and cabinet doors break under normal use. Control panels short out, circuit boards fail. It's the kind of quality you'd expect from a weekend DIY project, not a brand new travel trailer. At first glance, the Catalina feels like an easy win for new RV buyers. But after just a few trips, many say it's like camping in a cardboard box held together with duct tape. And if you think the Catalina's water issues are bad, wait until you hear about the next RV, a model where even the foundation itself can twist and sag under pressure. At number 7 is a brand that preys on first-time buyers with big promises and a small price tag. The Dutchman Coleman Lantern, priced between $20,000 and $29,000. It looks like the perfect gateway to family camping adventures. Spacious floor plans, cozy interiors, and a name that evokes the nostalgia of backyard lanterns and sleeping under the stars. But once you start towing this trailer, many owners say reality hits fast, and it's anything but cozy. Let's talk about frame flex, a term you don't want to learn after you've already bought the RV. On the Coleman Lantern, the steel chassis twists and sags under normal towing loads. That structural warping leads to misaligned doors, cracking wall panels, and malfunctioning slide-outs. When the foundation of your RV isn't stable, everything else begins to fail, and fast. Inside, things fall apart just as quickly. The cabinetry, drawers, and furniture are made with materials so flimsy, owners say they start breaking during the first few uses. Laminate flooring peels, screws pop out, and the walls rattle like a drum at highway speeds. Even basic components like door handles and window shades are poorly installed, turning everyday use into a constant string of minor breakdowns. Appliance reliability, barely there. Water heaters, refrigerators, and AC units often fail within the first year, forcing families to spend their vacation chasing down repair shops instead of relaxing. And when you call for warranty support, you're often met with slow responses, finger-pointing between Dutchmen and dealerships, and a growing list of out-of-pocket expenses. So while the Coleman Lantern might seem like a safe first RV, many buyers learn the hard way that cheap up front often means disaster down the road. And if you think this is bad, the next RV might be even worse, because it promises comfort at a higher price and still leaves you crawling under it with a crank just to make it work. At number 6 is the Heartland Mallard, a trailer that sells the idea of mid-range luxury with smooth finishes and glossy brochures. It's the kind of RV you walk through at the dealership and think, this could actually feel like home. But take it on the road for a few trips and that illusion starts to break, sometimes literally. What you're left with isn't a cozy escape, but a frustrating puzzle of failures that unravel faster than a campfire marshmallow in your hands. One of the biggest issues plaguing the Mallard is its slide-out reliability, or lack thereof. Owners frequently report jamming slide mechanisms, warped rails, and alignment issues that leave the slide stuck halfway in or out. This doesn't just ruin the floor plan, it becomes a safety hazard when the seals break and water seeps into the subfloor. And speaking of water, it seems the Mallard can't keep it where it belongs. Plumbing leaks under the sink, dripping water pumps, and shower seals that fail during basic use all point to rushed manufacturing. One frustrated owner described waking up in the middle of the night to find a mini flood under the dinette. Then there's the comfort factor, which Heartland heavily markets. But in reality, the air circulation is poor, the insulation is laughable, and the furnace often can't keep up unless you're parked in perfect weather. Summers turn into sweat boxes, and winter trips require space heaters, which of course trip the breakers due to weak electrical design. Even interior finishes that seem nice at first glance, like faux leather seating or LED lighting, start showing wear and tear far too early. One customer summed it up perfectly. It's like the designers never expected anyone to actually use it. So if you're hoping the Mallard brings luxury to the road, you might end up with more stress than style. But the next RV on this list takes things to an entirely different level, because even a light breeze can turn it into a nightmare on wheels. At number 5 is the Gulfstream Amerilite, a trailer that looks cheerful, compact, and simple until you take it into real weather. Marketed as a lightweight solution for easy towing and low fuel consumption, the Amerilite quickly proves that light can sometimes mean dangerously underbuilt. While it might appeal to first-time RV owners or downsizing retirees, many of them find out the hard way that this model isn't ready for anything beyond perfect conditions. And even then, that's pushing it. The most jarring complaint? Wall and roof thickness. The Amerilite is constructed with some of the thinnest materials in its class, meaning it offers almost no soundproofing, insulation, or protection. Just imagine trying to sleep during a storm when your walls flex like a soda can and every gust of wind sounds like a freight train. Several owners have described nights inside the Amerilite as like camping in a giant lunchbox. Comfort issues pile up quickly. Temperature control is nearly impossible. The thin insulation means heat escapes in the winter and floods in during summer. The result? Constant dependence on weak air conditioning and space heaters that struggle to keep up, often tripping breakers or shorting out. One reviewer called it a sweat lodge in July and a freezer in February. Then there's the roofing membrane, which is infamous for premature bubbling, cracking, and full-on peeling, sometimes within the first year of ownership. Once that outer seal is compromised, it's just a matter of time before water makes its way inside, causing warping, soft spots, and dreaded mildew smells. What makes this even more frustrating is how cheap it all feels, despite costing upwards of $25,000 in some configurations. For a model designed to be simple and accessible, the Amerilite often becomes a long-term regret, especially for buyers who expected more than just thin walls and cut corners. And just when you think middle-tier trailers can't cut any more corners, the next RV on our list proves that even four-season claims can melt away under the slightest pressure. At number 4, we've got the Palomino Puma, a trailer that boldly claims to be ready for all 4 seasons. But for many owners, it struggles to survive just one. On the surface, the Puma checks all the boxes: rugged design, family-size layouts, and weatherproof bragging rights. But once it's on the road, things start to unravel quickly. Because the Puma isn't just a case of overpromising. It's a full-blown lesson in why marketing can't replace real-world performance. The headline problem? Insulation failure. The Puma is advertised as climate-ready, yet it's built with questionable sealing, poor insulation materials, and cheap weather stripping that begins to peel within months. Cold air seeps in through the slide-outs, heat leaks through the thin ceiling, moisture condenses on the windows and collects behind trim panels. One owner described winter camping in the Puma as like sleeping inside a freezer bag with a space heater. But the insulation isn't just about comfort, it's about protection. As temperature swings beat down on this trailer, sealant cracks, water seeps in, and before you know it, you're dealing with swollen floors and peeling wall panels. And since many of these issues are hidden behind decorative finishes, they can quietly grow until repairs become massive and expensive. Some Puma owners say their unit showed signs of rot before they even made the third trip. You'd think a company making four-season claims would at least reinforce the roof, but even that falls short. Several reviews mention soft roof spots, poorly bonded membranes, and bubbling that leads to long-term leaks. Add in the fact that customer service is often dismissive, and the result is an RV that leaves buyers out in the cold, both literally and figuratively. And if that feels like a lot to deal with, the next RV may surprise you even more, because this one was designed for fun weekend trips. But it can leave you dealing with rust, breakdowns, and busted dreams by the second season. At number 3, we've got the Crossroads Zinger, a trailer that's sold as the perfect weekend escape. It's light, affordable, and packed with features that look great on the sales sheet. But talk to a few owners and you'll hear the same phrase again and again. It's great until you actually start using it. Because once you do, the Zinger reveals what's really under the surface, and it's not built to last. One of the biggest issues is the failure of critical seals, especially around the windows, slide-outs, and roofline. This might sound like a small thing until the first rainstorm hits. Water seeps in where it shouldn't, collects in the wall insulation, and soon you're staring at warped panels, mildew stains, and soggy floors. Some owners even report visible water trails inside the living space after towing through light rain. Underneath, the situation doesn't get better. The support frame and undercarriage components are prone to rust, especially when used in humid or coastal areas. And since the Zinger isn't designed with high-end protective coatings, corrosion sets in fast, leading to brake issues, axle wear, and structural weakness in as little as 2 years. Inside, things don't feel much sturdier. The cabinetry and trim look polished at first but begin to peel, warp, or break with even light use. And once things start falling apart, you quickly realize how hard it is to find support. The manufacturer response is often vague or dismissive, with many repairs falling squarely on the owner's wallet. What really stings is that many Zinger buyers are first-timers, lured in by the friendly layout and low price, only to find themselves trapped in a trailer that costs more in repairs than it did up front. Now we're heading into the final 3, and this is where things get unbelievable. The next RV has a roof so flimsy, some owners say it starts collapsing under nothing more than a summer storm. We're now into the final 3, and this is where things go from disappointing to downright dangerous. At number 2 is the Starcraft Autumn Ridge, a trailer that comes dressed in modest charm and dependable branding. It's pitched as a reliable mid-range option for families who want to explore without breaking the bank. But in reality, it's the kind of RV that makes you question whether it was ever meant to leave the driveway. Let's start with the roof, the part of your RV you need to trust the most. On the Autumn Ridge, it's thin, shockingly thin. So thin, in fact, that owners have reported sagging, soft spots, and in some cases, collapse under mild snow or rain loads. One reviewer said, "I climbed up to check the sealant and could literally feel the roof flexing under my feet. It was terrifying." Imagine spending thousands on a trailer only to be scared it'll buckle the moment you hit bad weather. The problems continue on the inside. Starcraft uses cost-cutting materials that don't stand up to regular use. Cabinet doors misalign, screws fall out, and drawer slides jam after just a few trips. The furnace and water heater systems are notoriously unreliable, often requiring servicing after fewer than 10 uses. Even the slide-out systems feel slapped together. Several owners mention binding gears, uneven movement, and seals that fail within the first year, letting in water and cold air. And like many on this list, the warranty support is inconsistent, with some users reporting that basic repairs were either delayed for months or flat out denied. So while the Autumn Ridge might look like a charming weekend rig, it often ends up parked in frustration, or worse, in a shop waiting for parts that should have never broken in the first place. And if you think this is bad, wait until you see number 1. It's a so-called elite model that costs more than most small cars, yet it's left owners stranded, soaked, and begging for someone to take it off their hands. At number 1, we've got a name that sounds like prestige, power, and performance. The Thor Freedom Elite. It's sold as a top-tier Class C motorhome, a vehicle that's supposed to give you freedom, comfort, and confidence on the open road. But for far too many buyers, the only thing elite about this rig is the level of stress and expense it brings into their lives. This is the RV that takes everything bad from the rest of the list and rolls it into one painfully expensive package. Let's start with the electrical issues, which are nothing short of infamous. Owners report complete power system failures, random shorts, and batteries that won't hold charge after just a few uses. In one case, the entire interior shut down while the family was camping off-grid, leaving them without lights, refrigeration, or AC in the middle of summer. But it gets worse. The slide-out mechanisms are some of the most unreliable in its class. Misaligned tracks, gear failures, and seal leaks are routine. Some Freedom Elite owners say they had to manually crank the slides in and out on multiple trips. Not exactly the elite experience they signed up for. Then there's the water intrusion. For a unit that often costs $80,000 or more, the fact that multiple buyers have reported mold, soft flooring, and swollen cabinetry within 18 months is jaw-dropping. Many say they've spent more time at the dealership service bay than on the road. And good luck getting help. Thor's customer service has a well-documented reputation for slow responses, warranty loopholes, and parts that take months to arrive. This RV looks sleek, sounds impressive, and carries a name that implies power. But for countless owners, the Freedom Elite has meant exactly the opposite. No freedom, no support, and no end to the frustration. We've just gone through 11 RV brands that have left a lot of people disappointed, frustrated, and in some cases, completely overwhelmed by unexpected problems. From water damage to electrical failures and roof collapses. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're serious issues that turn road trips into repair bills and peaceful vacations into constant stress. But here's the thing. Every RV owner has a story. Maybe you've dealt with one of these models firsthand. Maybe you've had a totally different experience. Did your RV hold up better than expected? Or did it start falling apart way too soon? We want to know what you think. Your voice matters, especially in a space where honest reviews are hard to find and manufacturers often dodge accountability. If you've owned any of the RVs we mentioned, or even a different one you think people should avoid, drop your experience in the comments. What went wrong? What worked? Would you buy it again? Let's build a space where new buyers can learn from real stories, not just brochures and sales talk. And if you found this video helpful or eye-opening, take a second to click the like button. It helps get this kind of information in front of more people who need it, especially those about to make a big decision they might regret. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay informed, protect your wallet, and join a growing community of RV owners who are sharing the truth, one rig at a time. Thanks for watching, and if you're already on the road, stay safe out there.